Recording in progress. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, lovely souls, for joining us tonight. And as you've probably guessed from the title, we are going to be working with somebody that I'd like to really regard as a close friend of mine, as Anubis, Ascended Master Anubis. And if you've been following my video updates, particularly over the last 3 or 4 years or so on my Ascension page, you'll notice that I bring in the energy of Anubis, and I've worked with him previously on visits to the halls of Amenti because he's got a very prominent part in this ascension process. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of bring him forward specifically to work with us tonight is doesn't happen very often, but there's occasionally a little bit of confusion about the role that Anubis serves. Now, a lot of people have been introduced to the kind of almost like the mythological presence of Anubis as being maybe the god of the dead or the god of the underworld, and he's got like this kind of like looming or rather ominous presence that kind of represents what appears to feel dark to people. But that's just one side of the coin that's been perceived or painted. You know, as we're picking our way through this ascension process at the moment, we're kind of realizing that a lot of the things that were told in history or his story are certainly not actually as they were depicted, as they would truly be depicted. Now, Anubis was or still is an ascended master. He's currently serving from a non-physical standpoint, meaning that many of us are representing the energy of past priests and priestesses on planet Earth at the moment, you know, like, or we've come as an aspect of, or we're holding an aspect of that energy, or that aspect of that energy is manifesting through us. But to my best of my knowledge, Anubis at the moment is holding a very, very powerful role in as gatekeeper or keeper of the secrets. Now, the reason why this is because the magnitude or the importance of the information that he has been keeping is so important that his role can be none other at the moment. Now, Anubis was a high priest in the Temple of Wisdom in Atlantean times. I also worked in the Temple of Wisdom. This is how we got to know each other back in the good old days. And with that, when we had the 1,500 years of the golden era of Atlantis, where an incredible amount of very high frequency information was generated. Okay, we've got, if you look at the Atlantean era, you've heard me talk about this before, you've got 260,000 years. That's a long time. Okay, so we've got 5 Atlantean experiments that occurred during that 260,000 years. An incredible amount of very sacred information was generated, and also a lot of information that really wasn't worth keeping because it didn't work. So it got lost. It got tossed out along with the rest of it. But during the 1,500 years of the golden era of Atlantis, everything that was created, everything that was generated, everything that was learned was stored. And it was stored to provide the blueprint that we are now beginning to operate from at the moment. So as we're rolling into this ascension process, as we're beginning to get little visions or little tidbits or patterns or kind of like, you know, playbooks of the future that we are generating together collectively, this Atlantean information is beginning to present itself in our lives. And we're bringing this through. Many of us who stepped onto the ascension pathway, once we've put our feet on the floor, we've adopted that ascension role, and we're beginning to actually work with that energy. Those memories are coming back to some of us. Okay, now it's only in a very limited format. Okay, the library or the quantity of the information that was put away is so vast and so so high frequency that to present it all now would completely, it's almost like you'd put the fire out. There'd be too much. We wouldn't know what to do with it. A lot of it would fall into the wrong hands, and it was kept away very cleverly. Now, I might have described the process before, the way that the sacred Atlantean texts and information was stored away. They were stored away in crystals. They were stored away in the skulls of Atlantis at the time. They're also generated into tablets and sacred texts and put into also into the auras and fields of many of us to be activated later, but only when the frequency rose high enough. So they were very clever how they did this. And Anubis had a huge role in this, that the information was placed away, and it was placed away in such a manner that it would only be retrieved by a level of consciousness that would be able to access it. So it's all based on heart vibration. This is how it's read. When the heart has lit up to a certain octave, then it triggers the quantity of reflective information that comes back in. So as we're raising in frequency, as we're moving forwards on this ascension pathway, we receive what we need at this particular time. But I would say at the moment, it feels a little bit like the floodgates are opening. It's as we've moved into the kind of the countdown for this particular Lion's Gate, this very important Lion's Gate, I can feel a build-up or a quantity or a almost an overabundance of light, and all of this light contains information, it contains codes, it contains activations, and it's not necessarily a comfortable download that we're receiving. So just to kind of digressing slightly, to describe Anubis was the soul who was tasked with the protection of this information. So he has guarded it, not only during the Atlantean era, but also since the fall. So since the fall, obviously, it's been put away at a vibration that can no longer, anybody with a lower consciousness, anybody with lower intentions, anybody that might wish to find it and retrieve it to use it against the purposes for which it were created, it's inaccessible, and it will remain inaccessible, which is one of the wonderful reasons why we will never repeat what happened during the end of Atlantis, the reason why Atlantis fell. So when we access this information, when we approach the halls of Amenti, when we go there on a soul level, or whenever we are accessing whatever we need to retrieve on a soul level for us, it is always via Anubis that we go. Okay, and it just my memories of my connection to Anubis became very apparent back in 2013 when I first found out, I found out what my role on this ascension pathway was. And some of you who are kind of local to the UK might know him, the most wonderful soul reader called Andrew Hobbs. And I walked into his kitchen and this is in 2013. This is before I had a social media account. This is before I was going to be, putting myself out there in any way, shape or form. I just about kind of agreed in my head with Diana Cooper to write the first book. So it's the beginning of it all, but I was still looking for verification. I was still looking for, who am I? What am I doing here? Why all of this? And Andrew Hobbs, so I walked into his kitchen with my friend Polaris AB, and he kind of stopped in his tracks and he goes, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to read to you with him looming over your shoulder. And I was like, who are you talking? Obviously, I know Andrew's psychic and he can see and perceive and pick up things that I wasn't necessarily aware of. He said, Anubis looming over your shoulder like that. I'm actually finding it really quite intimidating. And it was at that point I realized that this beautiful soul had been accompanying me, not just for most of my life, but was now, as I was stepping out onto the ascension pathway, his presence was there to guide, to basically see me through that first part and for all of the rest of it. So I dipped in more and more into this relationship, how we we became friends during Atlantean times and also during Egyptian times. And we're going to be visiting Anubis in the visualization that we're going through tonight. And I'm going to describe him from how I remember him. Okay, so how I personally used to interact with him, my memories and my personal vibration that I have with him. It's been written into the visualization. So I hope you all enjoy it. And tonight, this energy, what we are working with at the moment, a lot of us are actually kind of reporting, like you might have heard the chat between David and myself before we started, about how it's feeling a little bit odd at the moment. Everything's feeling a little bit pressurized. And I put a video out on Friday, and the wording is becoming quite biblical at the moment. It's almost like, you know, we're keeping our equilibrium. We're keeping, you know, as positive and as light as we possibly can. But the circumstances around us are becoming really quite challenging. And we know that we've got a limited period of space in which to act. Well, I got the information on Tuesday, for those of you that haven't heard my update on Friday, that Archangel Gabriel, and this is his precise wording, Archangel Gabriel is bringing down the hammer of light for, you know, basically for this period of time. We're already experiencing this incredible connection to Sirius and to the galactic core and to Orion's belt during the Lion's Gate, but most prominently, he's bringing down the hammer of light. Now, the hammer of light is wording. It's like, you know, you can imagine like the huge form of Archangel Gabriel in the heavens bringing down the hammer of light. And that in kind of the esoterical way, that's exactly what's happening. All of a sudden, the Schumann resonance, I don't know exactly what happened. Other people out there might know a little bit more about it. But something very curious happened with the Schumann resonance the next day. It just jumped completely, but it went off the charts in a way that hasn't been seen before, hasn't been recorded on this planet. So it was almost immediately I put that message out, or I've received that message, and I spoke about it when Mia and I did the workshop last Tuesday. Then we had kind of 2 or 3 days of integration before I did the Friday video. And boy, could I feel it. All of a sudden, you always know when a lot of light is coming in because the physical body begins to get pushed. Okay. You can feel it sometimes. Your emotional body might be a bit stressed. You might have stuff coming up in your mental body. Your spiritual fields might be needing a little bit more attention than normal. They might be full of things that you want to release, or you're just doing extra work upon yourself. But when the physical body starts getting pushed, then you know the quantity of light coming in needs to be integrated in a practical manner, because the cells of our body, despite the fact that this is an etheric light, the cells of our body do respond to it. Our DNA responds to it. That's the whole process that is occurring at the moment. So when things get physical, you know that it's time to make sure that you're in alignment with it. Okay, drinking more fluid, getting very grounded, taking it easy and stepping back if you're needing to. But if this particular light is giving you the instructions to step forwards and do more work, get involved, then that's what you should be doing at the moment. And so the beautiful part about it was that several people emailed me after that update and said, yes, I am part of a group that also received that information about the hammer of light, but in slightly different wording. And another person said, that's exactly what I got this morning. So down it came. Okay. And this is what's occurring, but it's making things a little bit weird. Okay. It feels a little bit like, reminds me a little bit of 2014 when the Lyran Stargate first opened at I think it was the spring equinox in 2014, and the Lyran Stargate first opened. Archangel Christiel Christiel introduces energy to this universe, and more unicorns than I've ever seen, or thought were physically possible, came pouring through the Stargate to Earth. And at the time I was like, wow, bring it on. That's just so amazing. Light, light, light. Let's soak it all up. But the next day I felt like I was swimming through treacle. Okay, I couldn't think properly. My physical, everything felt slow. Everything was an effort. If I was trying to write, it was, everything felt really stodgy. And at the moment, that to me is my flag or my marker or my indication that the light levels have gone up very suddenly, very quickly. And there is a distinctive force of action behind this light. It's being done with a specific intention. Okay. Now, some of the other words that Archangel Gabriel used, and this is kind of my current ascension update that I'm giving you at the moment. He was very specific. He said that the rules of spiritual engagement had been broken by the 3D matrix. Okay. So if it's funny, like it doesn't matter how low frequency or low vibration a certain group or a matrix of energy is, it still has to operate under very specific spiritual laws. And so in this particular case, they kind of warn everybody that something's going to happen before it does. And it's up to us whether we see it or whether we pay attention to it. This is another story altogether. I'm not going to kind of dip my toes into this pond, but the way that they're doing things, because we have made so much progress and because they are so startled and are losing grasp of everything that previously existed, they started to break the rules. Now, when the rules are broken, that's when intervention occurs. So if you think about it from our perspective, although the things that are being presented to us at the moment might seem particularly, it's starting to get a little bit hairy. Maybe the social controls getting a bit too much. Maybe the things that you're hearing or kind of hearing indirectly from other people are in the news are starting to press the survival buttons maybe just a little bit too hard. This is a direct result of all of the action that we've been taking to make the changes. It's brought everything forwards. It's brought everything forwards a lot quicker than it was actually designated to do so. So everything that's occurring around us on the planet on a 3D level at the moment, it was supposed to go a certain way, and it was supposed to happen over a certain period of time. And it's also supposed to go like clockwork, but none of it is. It's all getting completely shot to pieces by this really, really inconvenient global awakening that's occurring. So, hey ho, everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to be doing. But in the process of doing so, action is now being taken to bring the light in that levels the playing field. Okay, so this is what I loved about the card that I picked at the beginning, the Cosmic Ruby. Be a peace ambassador, practice cosmic mastery. And just to warm us up a little bit tonight, I'd like to do the exercise that comes with that because I think it's highly appropriate. Okay, so just trying to find page number 32 in the book. So just close your eyes now. We're getting into the nuts and the bolts of the evening. Just close your eyes. You've been speaking for a little while. Just start to integrate and let the energies flow through you. Okay. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just allow yourself to completely relax. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world around you. Doesn't matter what's been triggering you. Doesn't matter what's been going on in your personal life. You are here in a very sacred space at the moment. You are totally protected, and everything that we do will raise your frequency safely. So just close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, breathe into your heart center, and completely relax. And sense Archangel Uriel holding a beautiful, glowing, deep red ruby. And Archangel Uriel standing in front of you now, holding this beautiful red ruby. And a unicorn is filling it with pure white unicorn love. So sense and feel Archangel Uriel stood before you, beautiful pure white unicorn, filling the ruby with its grace, its essence, and its purity. And just relax for a few moments as Archangel Uriel now places this ruby within your solar plexus. So feel the gold of your solar plexus now lighting up with the beautiful, bright ruby energy mixed with the light of the unicorn. And breathe it in. And feel everything within your body, your fields, and your chakras just stabilizing. All of the noise might stop within your etheric bodies. Everything will become stock still, unified. Breathe that unicorn light and that ruby light into your solar plexus. Most importantly, release any fear that you might have at the moment about the process that is going on around us. Allow Archangel Uriel to place confidence and strength and alignment into the chakra. Now just take a few moments to sense and feel this ruby expanding from your solar plexus all around you. Take a deep breath in, breathing into your solar plexus. And as you breathe out, the ruby light and the unicorn light within it expand around you. And take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, the beautiful ruby expands even further. Now, as we are unified as a group together, just visualize ourselves all sat in a circle. All of us, doesn't matter where we are on the planet, who are energetically in the same space at this moment in time. We are safe, we are powerful, we are strong, we are filled with this beautiful ruby light. Feel its confidence and its balance and its calm. Imagine yourselves all sat in a circle, all of us together. As we take another deep breath in, unify this ruby light around us. Might take a couple of breaths to do so as each of our fields, the ruby light merges with one another. And it becomes a unified field of peace and strength. And being shown clearly now that the energy all around us is actually forming the shape of the most beautiful, iridescent cosmic ruby. So feel yourself contained within this, balanced and calm and strong. And just take another deep breath in into the solar plexus. And breathe out. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Okay. Start to bring yourselves back now. Lovely. Well, that was an energy that presented itself that wasn't on. We did all look amazing, Linda. You're absolutely right. It's always, whenever we're gathered as a group like this online, the energy is unified. It doesn't matter where we are in the world, doesn't matter what we are doing, we are integrating as a working collective light group. So thank you, Archangel Uriel, and thank you to the unicorns for that, because that was a beautiful blessing to start off what we're doing. So yeah, it's that became quite appropriate, because obviously this light that came down has really stirred the pond up. Okay, so for those of you that haven't heard me use the analogy before, when light comes in at the level that it is at the moment, that we're all using and integrating between now and the Lion's Gate. I mean, wait till the Lion's Gate. it's just going to be absolutely off the charts. But it's like chucking a big rock into what looks like a still pond. As it hits the bottom, all of the mud comes up. And a lot of that mud is what is, it's not just a collective, it's actually within us. This light has come in so powerfully, it's washed through our fields, it's creating physical symptoms, and it's bringing a lot of these emotions, almost like this fear, to the surface that we're dealing with. And the solar plexus is the center point. I can understand very clearly why that came to us tonight. So just allow that ruby to do the clearing for you. Just allow it to all just wash through you. Anything, any kind of inconsistencies, anything that you might be feeling at the moment that's not in alignment with how you would like to be feeling, what you'd like to be focusing on. Now is the time to balance it. Okay. Right. I think it is time for us to join my beautiful friend Anubis, divine protector and keeper of sacred secrets. Okay. Roberta is asking, is there a particular time at which the Lion's Gate peaks? Or I think it's an all-day event. I think once that alignment occurs, that's it. We've got it until it decides to switch itself off. But it's like I feel a build-up for it, and I always feel a shadow afterwards, a little bit like we do from a retrograde. So wherever you are in the world now, we're going to dive straight back in. And David, if you could possibly put up the symbol that I have chosen for the night. Thank you, David. Now, this is the seal of Anubis. This is a symbol that was given to me via Anubis to call in and represent his energy. Now, all of you will be able to use this yourselves. Okay. So if you are wishing to call upon Anubis, or you wish to invoke him or bring his energy in and anchor it, this is the symbol that I always use, and it brings him straight here, and the legions of Anubis as well. So thank you. Now I'm going to pop my camera off. If you just tune into the symbol, which is one of David's beautiful creations. So thank you for that. And we're going to join him in the halls of Amenti. So I'll be guiding you there. So lovely souls, relax once more. You are about to travel to the halls of Amenti to meet ascended Master Anubis, and also learn a little bit more about his true role in the ascension process of humanity. Return once again to your focused breathing. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you were just doing with your solar plexus, do this now and focus upon your heart. Breathe in again. And breathe out. And on the third breath, your heart fully activates. And just feel yourselves completely relaxing. And we're going to call in and invoke the energies of Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and Archangel Zadkiel. Now feel them adding their individual energies around you in a coat of courage and grace and alchemical purity. So feel the blue cloak of Archangel Michael around you. Feel it settle around your head, and your shoulders feel his loving, strong, courageous energy. Then feel the diamond white purity of Archangel Gabriel. Sometimes his energy even feels like snow upon the skin, the energies of grace and purity. And then the very specific violet presence of Archangel Zadkiel. And feel that also wrapping around you. Feel it just releasing and dissolving anything that you might have within your fields or your bodies. Just might need a little bit of extra violet flame. And just breathe and completely relax. Just take a few moments to feel the shift in your vibration now, and the resulting clarity, the silence. Are the cells of your body vibrating? Is the light moving around you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually easier than it was previously? Any resistance or any blockages completely removed? And now, continuing to breathe and relax, bring your attention to your soul star chakra, which is 18 inches above the top of your head. So if you go to your crown, your soul star is in between the causal and the stellar gateway, about 18 inches above the top of your head. And consciously now, begin to breathe into this chakra. Conscious breathing. Flow your breath, direct your breath into your soul star. And see it lighting up a magnificent magenta with a bright blue center. As you continue to breathe into the chakra, see the bright blue of the center beginning to expand, very much like your heart did, and the ruby. So breathing in, and on the out breath, see the bright blue in the center of your soul star becoming more and more expansive. Breathe in again. Breathe out, and the bright blue is now beginning to surround you. This is your own soul star energy. Just rest a few moments within it. Or just take another deep breath in and breathe more of it around you. And continuing to breathe into the chakra, you see the bright blue of the center now expanding all around you with its incredible bright blue light. In front of you, an ornate doorway begins to form now. Your soul star chakra has been activated fully, and it is the entrance to a higher realm of light known as the halls of Amenti. The halls are a vast cosmic library that stretch from the 3D Akash right up to the libraries of Source at the 12th dimension. They are filled with an endless source of information from around the universes and the dimensional spaces that are teeming with conscious forms of life. every experience that is worthy of note and of use to others is downloaded and filed into the halls. So just stand for a moment in front of the doorway to the higher realms. It begins to form into an ornate golden arch with a double door in the center. There is a circle in the center for you to place your hand upon. As you do, there is a distinctive click as the energy lock responds to your vibration and the doors swing open. On the other side, an ethereal golden mist is swirling, inviting you in. So take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, step through into the area filled with the mist in the halls of Amenti. Now, for a moment, you remain completely surrounded by this golden light. It lightly touches your skin. You might even feel it brushing very gently over the hairs on your arms. With your eyes closed, you may even be able to sense it touching your face. This mist is formed from the gold ray of Christ, and it is completely alchemizing any energy misalignments within your bodies and fields. To proceed into Amenti, this Christed energy will remove any low frequency attachments or cords that may impede your movement. This is a final opportunity to completely release and let go of anything that you may be carrying as a visible or invisible burden at this moment in time. Just reflect upon yourselves for a few moments. Are you carrying anything that you wish to release? Has anything come up for you recently or over a long period of time? Just feel the light, the gold ray of Christ just integrating with your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. You might even find that the golden mist indicates areas upon you where you need to let go and to allow it to light up. Just continue to breathe deeply and just let the gold ray of Christ in the form of the golden mist do its beautiful work. And when this gentle light has done its job, you sense and see it beginning to just very slowly dissipate around you. As it does, you are left standing in the most beautiful and ornate room, and it resembles the entrance to an ancient temple built from an advanced civilization. There are pillars and archways connecting to the high decorated ceiling. Beautiful gems and golden light language adorn the walls, and torches of liquid golden fire provide light along with hundreds of candles that have been lit with divine reverence. You have entered a room in the halls of Amenti that you may feel familiar with, or this place may be completely new to you. And you decide to take a look around. How is this incredible space presenting itself to you? Lining the walls are shelf upon shelf of sacred texts. Some are in scroll form, and others are in huge bound books of light. There are crystals in some sections that have been used to record information, and in others there are tablets that resemble the famous emerald tablets of Thoth. All of them glow with divine light. You are inclined to keep looking around as there is something specifically here for you. Now, amongst the incredible artifacts of knowledge, there is an item that is glowing bright gold. It could be a crystal, a book, a tablet, or any other form of recording mechanism. It will be directly calling to you. Just take a look around and allow yourself a few moments to locate it. And when you find it, begin to move towards it. Now, what is it that has been calling you? As you connect to your artifact and you pick it up, it begins to glow even brighter. Take a few moments to connect to it. You might even feel a very deep vibration of sound light beginning to emanate from it. Upon it are the most beautiful inscriptions that project themselves now holographically in front of your third eye, so that your higher self can read it clearly. Just take a few moments now to allow your third eye to gently reach out and connect with the sacred writing. Don't worry if you can't see it, just allow yourself to feel it, or just know that it is there. This wording is an activation that is perfect for you at this precise moment in time. Only your own soul would know what you would need at this time. So just gently tune into it and allow yourself to decipher the coding. Allow your heart and your third eye to integrate this gift and send it to exactly the place where it is designated to be activated. Could it be for your four bodies? Physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual? Or your stellar gateway chakra? Your soul star chakra? Your causal, your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your navel, sacral or base, or your earth star chakra perhaps below the soles of your feet. Or maybe all of the chakras simultaneously. Really sense and feel exactly where it is going and what it is for. If you don't know, don't worry. Just ask your heart to guide the process as you completely relax into this energy integration. You might at this point feel something completely shift within you. You have activated a powerful soul key or a series of soul keys that are an essential piece of your ascension puzzle. And these will allow you to continue from this point onwards as a much more powerful version of yourself than before you entered. Now, as your energy and your chakras begin to settle down a bit, just take a look at this artifact that you picked up. And you wonder perhaps whether you should return it to where you found it. And suddenly a deep and beautiful voice close to you says, "This is yours. You take it with you if you wish. I have many more just like it." You turn around and the most beautiful dark-skinned man, dressed in golden and tan robes, is stood smiling at you. His garb is a mixture of high priest and the armor of royalty, and he stands well over 6 foot tall. He is muscular and looks incredibly well defined. His skin is almost black in color, typical of the ancient warrior races from the ancient Egyptian times. Around his neck is a bright golden ankh, and he holds the staff in his right hand. This also is topped with a golden ankh, which is carved from either golden quartz or citrine. Ascended Master Anubis places his hand upon his heart in the traditional Atlantean greeting before opening his arms to embrace you. He feels loving but incredibly powerful, and good humor flows from his smile as he shows you his very wide grin in a knowing way. "You have come directly to my sacred space, you intrepid explorer. How did you manage to get past my guards so easily?" "I might have to make some inquiries for some new ones," he jokes. He walks with you from one side of his chamber to the other, where a huge door remains closed. There is another area in which many different ceremonial robes and other garbs are on full display. Upon a table is the traditional head of Anubis that you instantly recognize from the many depictions of his paintings by the Egyptians. He picks it up and places it on his head. Immediately it bonds with the golden armor that flows around his body until he resembles the most powerful warrior. "I don't often get caught partially dressed. We have got some interesting souls to meet now," he says to you. With Anubis as your company and your guide, you head towards the door which swings soundlessly open, revealing a very long corridor. It looks similar in nature to the one that you may be familiar with when entering the halls. Long, beautiful, and dimly lit with golden torches. Stood outside of his door are two sentinels dressed as he is, with long golden spears in their hands. These sentinels are twice the height of a human being and easily twice as wide. They are as powerful looking as any ancient warrior depicted in tales of the past. As Anubis steps out, the two sentinels stand to attention and bang their spears upon the stone step as he passes. At ease, he commands, and the two sentinels immediately relax. The doors swing shut behind you, and you begin to walk the corridor of Amenti with Anubis. He says to you, I am going to introduce you to the next phase in light worker protection. As you are most likely aware, being a human on Earth is a challenging mission to undertake. Being a human light worker with a planet to ascend is another matter altogether. In the not so distant future, you will not need to call upon protection and assistance as you do now, because you are moving to an era that is above the benchmark of polarity. No one will need protection because no one will be creating the situations or the energy that you will need to protect yourselves from. The sentinels exist to protect that which is pure of heart and sacred. They are created to acknowledge the purity of the 5D Heart Center and to work upon the wishes of the Intergalactic Council via myself. It has been made known recently that all souls operating from a place of heart-centered integrity will be allocated a sentinel to protect them on their ascension missions. This experience that you are having is completely unique, so we are responding to the requirements as they occur. Anubis stops before a huge silver and golden doorway with a symbol inscribed upon it. It is the head of Anubis in dog form, surrounded by Atlantean words of light. He stops to look at you. As he does, the armor disappears and his true face returns. He smiles, but is at the same time somber. Great darkness exists upon the earth, and it has been deemed to exit and continue its existence elsewhere. If it does not honor its agreements, then it will be removed and it will be alchemized. This is happening around you in the now moment. Some of you perceive it as a spiritual war, but in truth, it is simply the relinquishing of an age-old system of control that is no longer required to be learned from. You are about to meet your sentinel. Are you ready? Anubis touches the huge door with his staff, and it swings open with appropriate grandeur. You are presented with the most incredible sight as row upon row of sentinels stand before you in lines that stretch as far and as wide as your eyes can see. As Anubis enters, the entire legion stands to attention, and the noise is unified thunder. He raises his hand, and every one of the light sentinels stands at ease before you. You stand under one of the sentinels. The spear alone is as tall as a house, and the golden armor shimmers and shines in the sacred torchlight of the room. I ask you now to pick your sentinel if you wish to have one. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will travel with your divine guardian until it is deemed that its service is no longer necessary. Your guardian will be invisible to the naked eye, but will often be easier to see via the psychic senses. Animals feel at ease around them regardless of their size, so don't worry about him scaring off your pets, he jokes. You place your hand upon the leg of the vast sentinel next to you. It feels cold to the touch, but a spark of light from your hand activates it. And it bends down to look at you. Place your hand upon its heart to seal the bond, Anubis states. The sentinel kneels so that you may reach it and place your hand upon the center of its chest. And as you do so, to sense and feel your energy encoding with the energy of the sentinel. As it aligns with you and aligns with your frequency. And as you do so, the process is complete. Anubis speaks again. It will only engage when necessary and will always respond to your requests. There is nothing and nobody that wields more power than these souls, but it will honor your soul contracts with others and step back if it is not permitted to intervene. As with all spiritual beings, this sentinel adheres strictly to the spiritual laws that govern your physical reality. I have been advised by the Intergalactic Council that the next phase is a vast push from the light, Anubis says again. Spiritual laws have been ignored that affects the innocence of your world, and at this point we are required to provide protection and intervention. We are going to send an army of sentinels into your reality to assist with protecting those that require it the most. Anubis now walks up to the sentinels and places his hand upon the heart center of the one that is closest to him. With his eyes shut, he begins to speak in words of Atlantean power that sound unfamiliar but recognizable at the same time. Immediately, the legion of sentinels turn in unison to their left. Anubis speaks to you. I ask you now to think of a place or a person or a group of people or a specific situation that the sentinels can assist with. We are sending them through the portal to Earth now. So out loud or in your head, state your instructions to the sentinels. Who, what, or where do you believe they will need to assist the most? Visualize in your mind's eye the effect that these vast divine protectors will have when they become involved with the situation that you send them to. It can be personal or it can be global. All requests for intervention will be carried out under the law of grace. Now, one by one, the incredible sentinels begin to step through the golden portal on their way to our current reality. See them disappear into a golden mist like the one that you arrived in. Anubis smiles his broadest smile at you, and you both turn to leave as the legions are sent upon their mission. They'll be travelling through the portal for some time to come. You both begin to walk back up the corridor to Anubis's chamber. As you do, you realise that your vast sentinel is behind you, some distance back, but with you nonetheless. Anubis speaks to you again. Over the next 10 years, I must begin to return the secrets of Atlantis that I have been guarding for over 10,000 years. You carry one within you that is of the highest light. It will reveal itself to you when the time is of the precise essence. You will know when this is. He hugs you again, and you know it is time to start returning to your own sacred space. Please return whenever you wish, he says. You are always welcome here, brave warrior of light. Make sure you look after your sentinel, and he will look after you. Thanking Anubis now, begin to return with an aura of renewed fortitude. And just feel yourself now stepping back through your soul star chakra and returning to your reality. Bring yourself back to where you are sat. Feel yourself unifying physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and ground yourself into your earth star chakra below the soles of your feet. Coming back from the halls of Amenti. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Thank you, David. Oh, I better turn my camera on. So bring yourselves back, everyone. Slowly but surely. Oh. Big clearances and lots of assistance. That's what we need. That's what we need. Yeah. I really felt myself there tonight, actually. That was lovely. Thank you all so much for being part of that. And wherever each of you chose to send the sentinels, they will go there, and this job is being done. Okay, I've chose particularly to send the sentinels to be protecting the children of this planet at this time. For those of them that are, might be not quite as well supported as many of us. So lots of love and thank you. And like you say, you're welcome there anytime. Like the more information that you retrieve, the more you go back in, the more you retrieve this information for yourself, the more you'll develop, the more you'll grow. But okay. Yeah, so a few other people saying the children as well. It's where we're going, and this I won't speak about it in too depth, but that is basically what Archangel Gabriel was leaning towards with the spiritual laws that have been broken. It's basically it's time to wrap this one up. Okay. So I'll love you all lots and lots, and drink plenty of water after that, because that not only was the meeting with Anubis, but it was a big light integration with the artifact that you will have picked up in the halls of Amenti. It was quite an important one. Okay. So I am going to sign off now, and just big thank you to David. And David and I will be back together in unison on the 8th, of the 8th, the big one, the Lions Gate. And details will be sent out via my website, and also via my Tim Wild Practical Ascension page. You'll have lots of information on it over the next few days. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I know David as well. We're cooking up something rather lovely for you all. So good night for now. Like I say, stay grounded, drink lots of water, and just allow whatever is occurring at the moment to integrate. So big love. See you all soon. Bye.